Welcome to all of you. Okay, let me start with you, Dr. Anastasia. What's your problem with this ad? I mean, I just saw Sydney Sweeney looking hot, selling jeans.
Conservative commentator Deborah Lee fiercely defends the ad, condemning the hyperbolic Nazi comparisons and accusing the left of weaponizing every cultural moment into outrage.
What memo didn't I get?
I would love to live in a world where more people would have the privilege to look at this ad and simply see an ad for great jeans, but that's not the world that we live in. And we live in the world that is marked with a lot of cultural baggage. So when I saw this ad as a marketer, as somebody who works with agencies and brands on issues of culture and cultural relevance, I was frankly angered. And the reason for that is that the ad is racist and eugenics coded.
Dr. Anastasia lays bare the hidden cultural baggage coded within the ad's language and imagery, framing what others see as a jeans commercial into a disturbing narrative echoing historic racial superiority.
And I have to be clear that when I say that, I don't mean to talk about the intent of the creators behind this ad, but rather the impact that it has on audiences, and particularly on younger audiences. And here we need to remember that the target audience of American Eagle is the most racially and ethnically diverse consumer group in the history of the United States. And somebody who has spent a lot of time studying semiotics and the way that meaning is encoded in various forms of media and cultural artifacts, it becomes very clear to me that when we take apart this particular ad campaign, it marries certain concepts and certain words that carry cultural baggage for people. And if that wasn't enough, we can go back and look to the source material for this particular campaign, which is a Calvin Klein ad from 1980 that uses very explicitly the same kind of rhetoric of, and even more so rather dramatically, natural selection, survival of the fittest, selective mating, the superiority of dominant groups, etc. And from a perspective of media and cultural studies, when we look at this particular campaign, we can see how meaning travels from the source of inspiration to this particular narrative structure that we see in this ad. And so it is no surprise to me that it was picked up by audiences that reacted in the way that they did. And research shows, even though obviously Gen Z are in themselves a diverse group, they're also generally on average more progressive leaning and of course chronically online.
Crazy. You mean crazy?
Anastasia,
I mean,
Anastasia, we haven't had you on Uncensored before. I didn't really understand a word of what you've just said. Are you this much fun at parties, or do you have a different persona?
I would love
there?
it if you weren't disrespectful to me. It's a pleasure to join you today, and I look forward to exchanging opinions. I would love to clarify any points that you might have found confusing.
Anastasia, you would have to
Deborah Lee. Let me bring Deborah Lee in. This is a terrible example of racist white supremacy, etc. I sort of lost my thread halfway through it, but this is apparently the worst ad ever seen. I mean, this is the Nazis reborn.
That is just crazy to me. And
Conservative commentator Deborah Lee fiercely defends the ad, condemning the hyperbolic Nazi comparisons and accusing the left of weaponizing every cultural moment into outrage.
for people to have this reaction to this ad, when I first saw this ad, this is giving a Super Bowl, okay? This is shot very well. This is very creative for an ad agency. I don't know where that information is coming from, that they're the most diverse group and their clientele is the most diverse in the entire world, the entire country. But if that were the case, then this would be a great ad to appeal to a new base. Heterosexual, straight men who see a hot woman and they think, wow, that's great. I want to support this company. And for the record, Sydney Sweeney is a brunette. She has brown hair. So everybody's saying she's an Aryan, blonde hair, blue eyes. It's not true. Look at her roots. Look at her eyebrows. It takes 5 seconds to do a Google search of Sydney Sweeney's natural hair color. And while I have my own opinions about this ad, I don't really have the palate for sexual ads as a traditional conservative. I think if you have an issue with this and you're saying that this is a Nazi dog whistle, as a Jewish woman, when the Nazis created ads in their propaganda, it was not using hot women who are traditionally hot to try and attract people to become Nazis. It was saying that the Jews are vermin, that we're trying to take over the world. To try and compare the two is outrageous because the left will call everything Nazism and say everybody's a Nazi, except for the actual Nazis chanting from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free, reiterating the same talking points that we've seen since World War II. So I just really don't understand where any of this information or reaction is coming from. People have way too much time on their hands. Get a job, get a life. Stop being triggered by thin, white, hot women. Just let it be. Enjoy. You guys had Lizzo in an ad when she was 400 pounds modeling for Calvin Klein jeans. She's since lost weight because she even realized that being that size is not healthy for any individual. And it's clearly just targeted towards happy, straight, white women. They don't want to have these people in ads. We've had every single TV show, every single advertisement has somebody who's been put in simply for being gay in the last couple of years. That's the only reason that they've been put into the storyline. And so now we just have what we would deem normal, and the left is trying to brand this as abnormal. It's not taking, and the people that are trying to push this is the reason that the Democratic Party is continuing to fail in popularity.
One thing that I have in common with Harry and Meghan is that we all value privacy. If you've ever Googled your own name and discovered bits of your address, phone number and employment details hanging around, you'll be aware that your data privacy is under siege. That's because your data is purchased and sold by data brokers without your consent. Today's sponsor has a solution. Incogni contacts those shady websites and gets your personal data removed automatically. No forms, no emails, no ransoms. They handle all the back and forth of these brokers and update you on their simple dashboard. Incogni does not stop after the first sweep. They monitor and keep on removing your data if it pops up again. If you care about privacy and you want fewer spam calls, fewer junk emails, and a reduced risk of identity theft, this is a smart move. We've teamed up to give you a 60% discount on an annual plan at incogni.com/peers. Use code PEERS when you check out. That's Incogni, incogni.com/peers, PIERS. Use code PEERS when you check out. Okay, Mark Lamont Hill, let's look at an earlier American Eagle ad, which was in the middle of the whole Me Too campaign and stuff. Do you have any problem with the lady on the left there?
Do I have a problem with her? No, I don't have a problem with her.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem
You're
with
not
the
offended by that image?
I'm not.
Fascinating.
No.
You do have a problem with the woman on the right?
No, hold on. Two things. One, you specifically said let's not interrupt each other, and I haven't been able to articulate one sentence yet, and I've been interrupted twice. So let's follow your own rules.
No,
I'm not offended by the woman on the left. Let me complete the sentence. I am not offended by the woman on the left, nor am I offended by the woman on the right. The aha that you're going for isn't there because I'm saying I am not offended by either woman. What I am, please, I'm asking respectfully, allow me to finish a thought. Two people have spoken uninterrupted for 3 minutes. I haven't gotten 10 seconds out. What I'm saying is that the problem is not either woman. The problem is how we're narrating the commercial. That's what people are concerned about. Several things have been said that I'd like to respond to in direct response to what you're asking me, Piers. The first thing, and I'm glad the last woman who spoke mentioned that she's Jewish because I think that's really important. Historically, there have been lots of anti-Semitic images, narratives, tropes that are used that non-Jews don't see. And many times someone will say, oh, wait a minute, they showed that person playing into the cabal narrative. They showed this person as a rodent, or they showed this person with changing their name to this or that. And the average person may not intend to be anti-Semitic, although some people are anti-Semitic, but it's still there and Jews recognize it. So I don't want to presume that because a white person doesn't see it, that means that it can't be racist, or if a black person doesn't see, you know what I'm saying? We have to think about this on all levels from multiple audiences. You used the word normal and talked about it in the context of this white woman. White women are normal, but so are other people. The problem is, historically, we have only normalized white people. And so we've made white women's bodies, white male bodies, the norm. And we've made everything else less human, less beautiful, less real. And so when we say good genes are the ones that—
What a load of crap. Honestly, I'm sorry, Mark. If I may jump in on my own show, what a load of crap. I saw Beyonce do a jeans ad. Everybody drooled over it.
Piers Morgan calls out what he sees as selective outrage and girl jealousy, highlighting how the controversy fuels broader culture wars rather than genuine concern.
I loved it. Thought she looked hot when she did. Right? I mean, what are you talking about, man? This is... Let me ask you a straight question. Let me ask you a straight question. Does Sydney Sweeney have bad genes? Yes or no?
No, I don't think she has bad genes.
Does she have good genes? Does she have good genes?
No. Again, you're trying for these gotchas. If you
so
just
she doesn't
listen.
have good or bad genes?
The whole point is to argue that good and bad genes itself is a bad idea. It's a racist idea.
Why can't you have good genes, Mark?
Why is it racist?
If
Why
you
can't you have
allow
good
me
genes?
to, all right, I'm going to respond, and I'm going to hope that you don't interrupt me as I answer, okay? Because again, no one else has been interrupted except the people who disagree with you. What I'm saying is,
Stop being so precious, please.
The word you listen. The word eugenics literally means good genes. It literally means that etymologically. The point here is to judge human beings based on their genes and to decide that you have good genes and you have bad genes isn't in and of itself a racist project. That's the point. So no, it's not that I think that I have good genes and you can't say anyone else has good genes. I'm saying let's get rid of the good genes narrative, particularly when it's based on hair and eyes and body type. Why? Because those things are racially coded. In other words, if I say that straight hair is good genes or blonde hair is good genes, and no, I'm not after watching an ad Googling someone to figure out their natural roots. You'd be shocked to know how many people don't do that. If I'm doing these things and I see your eye color and your hair as a sign of your good genes, then that means someone who has a different hair or eye color doesn't have good genes. And the last thing I'll say is if you look historically at ads, at culture,
it doesn't though, does it? Calm down. Calm down. It doesn't actually mean that.
No,
hang on. No, I will speak on my own show. So just calm down.
I'm asking you not to be condescending.
Stop being so precious. My instruction about shouting was between the four of you, not me. It's my show. I do what I like.
Yes, I don't care if it's your show,
point is this.
If you interrupt me in the first minute, it's bad form. I'm saying that if you let the guest who agreed with you talk for 3 minutes, then don't allow me to talk for more than 1 second. You literally didn't let me finish the first sentence.
You have literally done more talking than all 3 other guests put together, multiple by 2 or 3. So
that's not true, but my issue with you interrupting was not at this point, it was at the first 10 seconds. My point was just don't interrupt me in the first 10 seconds. So
Can you
much
calm
now is
down?
irrelevant.
Can you calm down?
I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm talking over you.
Right.
Can I jump in here,
I have
Piers?
blue eyes. Right. I also have good genes, particularly on my mother's side, because my skin is surprisingly good for a person of my age, because my mother's side all had good skin. You got a problem with that? Mark?
Is that for me?
You got a problem with that? Yes. If I say I've got good genes from my mother because I have good skin and I've got blue eyes, so what?
So what color eyes are what color eyes are bad genes? If someone has bad genes, what would their hair or skin look like?
I don't think any are bad. I didn't see anybody from American Eagle saying that anybody else is.
No one said anything.
No one from just to be clear. Hang on. Nobody from American Eagle was making any comparison. Nobody said somebody else's eye color or skin color was wrong or bad or anything negative. All they said in an amusing pun is that Sydney Sweeney has good genes and is wearing great jeans. That's it. There was no negative about anybody else.
And here's why I disagree with that. Because if I were to stand on here and say, oh, she's from a good background, she's Gentile, then we would all say, well, wait a minute. I didn't compare to anybody else. No, by saying that Gentile is the good background, I would be implicitly saying that the others are not. If I say I have a good body, I'm skinny, then I'm saying that other bodies are not good. It's an implicit comparison, but it's not out of context. Historically, in this country and in the West, we've always said that white bodies are more beautiful. So it's not like we're coming out of nowhere here. This is out of Zeus's head. We're starning from a place where we've already presumed white superiority.
Mark, we have spent the last 10 years.
All right, Jedediah.
The last 10 years, if you look at all of the marketing campaigns, we have done how many segments on television about the elevation of obesity? You see people who are massive. Now we're saying it's a good thing, right? It's great. Let's celebrate everyone who's unhealthy and obese. If this ad was an African-American, if this ad was a Hispanic girl, no one would be saying a peep. Frankly, I think if this ad was a white girl like me with brown hair, brown eyes, I got a little Spanish in me, I got a little Italian in me, I'm Sicilian, I got some African in me, I don't think anyone would be saying anything either. This is utterly ridiculous. The only people who are offended by this ad are people who choose to be offended by everything. Either you choose to see racism in everything, or you choose to see sexism or misogyny. I noticed that a whole lot of women online were mad about this ad because they were jealous. It was so obvious. Now they're saying that this woman is against the body positivity campaign because she's skinny. So let's just say the truth. Sydney Sweeney is a sex symbol. She is a young, hot woman. She is objectively attractive. That is all this ad was about. Now, why has the stock skyrocketed for this company? The reason this ad has done so well is, yes, because it creates controversy and we all talk about it and we debate, and American Eagle is very smart and they knew that, but also because there is a growing segment of the population just like me that is saying that is so tired of walking on eggshells to cater to people like Mark's sensitivities. Frankly, I don't care if you're offended. You can put an ad out and offend this person over here or that person over there. Everyone is always going to get offended by something. Who cares? Here's the bottom line. Stop getting so offended. If you see everything through the lens of race, that's your problem. That's not Sydney Sweeney's problem. That's not American Eagle's problem.
This segment unveils a firestorm surrounding Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle Good Genes ad, pitting accusations of racism and eugenics coding against calls to stop being offended. The debate exposes raw tensions over representation, cultural history, and marketing ethics in today's polarized society. Whether you see a harmless fashion promotion or a coded message with deep roots, this discussion is a must-watch to understand the cultural fault lines being argued over genes. Don't miss out, hit subscribe, share your take, and join the conversation now.